another episode of the Shreveportant podcast. You gotta crack open. Ooh! That 318. Thank you to Great Raft for being Shreveportant and, of course, providing me with all the beer I need to do an entire episode. Now, I can't do an episode alone. Today's guest is none other than Pete John. Pete John is in the house, baby!
Dude, this is surreal.
Look at you.
Happy to be here.
I was so excited about talking to Pete John today. I didn't realize I was going to interview half of Pete John today.
I lost on the way in here.
What happened, man? You
Dude,
look great.
It's what happens whenever you open restaurants. You can't afford to eat. So I'm just trying to make it out, trying to live, Jay. That's all I'm trying to do is live. I've lost a lot of weight.
You look incredible, man.
Yeah,
you look healthy, though. You look awesome. You always looked healthy. And I'm not saying that you...
I was kind of swollen.
I'm not saying you were hideous before.
kind of swollen.
Yeah, you did. You carried it well. You did. You look awesome, man.
You look at pictures is when you see the difference.
Yeah.
And like people say it, and I'm like, I don't see it. Now I look at pictures, I'm like, oh man.
I've had that
Big
half
boy.
of Pete John comment in the can for a minute now because I saw a picture of you. You opened up a brand new Dilla's Quesadillas location. Where was that at?
We've opened two in the last couple months. Ruston. And then Nacogdoches, Texas. Stephen F. Austin across the street.
Really?
Yeah. So, dude, we've been busy, but yeah, there's been like people haven't seen me in a while. Then they see like the social media push with all that.
I saw a ribbon cutting and I was like,
that's what it is.
Pete posted it, but I don't see Pete here in the picture. Where's Pete?
Dude, the problem is I have one pair of jeans now. Like I don't have any clothes. It's awesome, the opposite of gaining weight. But I'm like, people, I just wear the same thing every day. Just throw it in the washer. Be done with it.
Pete, your official role with Dilla's Quesadillas, I know that we've been friends for a long time. I don't know if
So I have a restaurant group, Primo Restaurant Group.
Okay.
I'm the CEO, owner of Primo Restaurant Group. We have the rights to open Dilla's in East Texas, so like Texarkana, Lufkin, and all of Louisiana.
Awesome.
So Dilla's Quesadillas corporate's based out of Dallas.
Right.
Founder of Dilla's and I, buddies. Long story short, we can get into that if you want. But
we're gonna get into that today.
People are gonna fall asleep listening to my story.
Listen, we've only got 4 minutes, so thanks for being here today.
Wrap this thing up. No, but that's what I do.
Okay. Well, I'm honestly, I've never known. I mean, I've told people you own Dilla's Quesadillas.
I do.
Like 7,000 people that.
Well, I do. I just own these.
Yeah, these ones.
These ones.
Of course, it would be pretty tough for us to do this without the toe. And Pete gets to meet the toe today. And nice rope today, toe. Very cool.
Yep, thanks. I had to keep it breezy today because yesterday was a nightmare.
I don't see a 318 in your hand or a commotion.
I've been told I'm not allowed to drink while I'm producing.
It's probably for the best.
Okay, well, you know what? I have not been told that. Pete, I don't believe I'm going to offer you one of these because I know you have a long day today. And unlike me, you probably have work at some point. I do not. This is my work today. And so we have to go to the keg. Oh my God. No one saw that.
That happens.
Everything is cool, man. I definitely didn't just pour that out of the keg in the whole total wrong spot. So we're going to flip it around to another one.
Oh, let's see where this one goes. Let's see. Oh, perfect.
Now that was great. Just a little outtake.
That was for your guest. If somebody was sitting there, you just fill up their cup.
This place is going to smell like Fireball for the next 3 months because of that.
It's good. There's worse smells.
Who designs a keg that shoots out like this? What was that all about?
I don't know.
It's faulty.
I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good entertaining.
And they're not a paid sponsor, so I can tell you that is faulty. That is faulty. I would like to get in to how you and I met because I remember it vividly. But I'd like to know if you remember how you and I met.
First time?
First, I'm talking.
Oh,
wow,
dude.
Two handsome men meet each other, and the world changed forever.
I don't know. I have memories of the beginning of when we met. I don't know the first time. First time we met? Tell me, enlighten me.
I was 16. How you doing?
Was Chris Hansen there?
Chris Hansen came in afterwards, and it was a real bad ordeal. I was announcing the games for the Shreveportant Captains.
Oh, dude, that's a long time.
And you were with, can we say who you were with?
Sure.
You were at the time with Raising Cane's.
Yeah, I mean, I was there a long time. That was
you did
good stint.
Of course. Well, I think part of the Raising Cane's growth in Shreveport at that time, I often said is solely responsible, you and your team, and what y'all did in terms of marketing and promotions. Like, when Raising Cane's first kind of popped up here in Shreveport, it was everything.
Well, I was opening the first one on Uri, but that was, man, at the time, I think that's number 26. So they were young.
Yeah.
So we kind of had to figure a lot of that stuff out on our own. The stuff with the captain, the stuff you're referring to.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was just so cool for me. I love Raising Cane's. Who didn't? But at some point during the game, I was introduced to you and the group of guys that were on your team there at Raising Cane's. And man, we hit it off. We did right then. And do you remember what happened next?
No.
Now the story gets really fun. Raising Cane's was my first ever endorsement.
I do remember the endorsements. I remember the live remotes and those kind of fun things we used to do.
So much fun. But if I put the fun out of it, before I met you, I was living like a 16-year-old radio DJ. I was making around $16 every 2 weeks.
Dude,
and
big
I
money.
was eating for dinner. Like my house was stocked with snacks from the candy machine, the vending machine at the radio station. And then I met Pete. We got the Raising Cane's endorsement, and every single day I pulled into Raising Cane's on Mansfield Road, gave him the box combo card. Sucker, this stack of cards was this big, and it fed me for a year, and I will never forget it.
That's good. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'll never
The
forget
captains, though, man, that's a
Captains was
blast.
the origin,
Did you
yeah.
eat a lot of the ice cream out of the little helmets they had? Remember those little helmets?
That was the OG Captains. I still have one of those helmets in the little mini bat.
Dude, those were the days.
They really were when you think about how lucky we were to have.
Man,
you know,
that was awesome.
And even at the end, I love that the Mudbugs are back. Obviously, I've been with the Mudbugs a long time as well, but I don't think we realized how good we had it at that time. Like towards the end of the Captains, if you remember, there was the Shreveport Captains, the Bossier Shreveport Battle Wings,
Yep.
and the Bossier Shreveport Mudbugs. And it's like no matter what time of year it was, you had something cool to go watch. And
We're getting back there, though.
Oh, of course.
I mean, it's coming. The captain's glory days, like when I was a young guy, because growing up in Atlanta, I left like during that middle school or elementary middle school, came back for high school. But when we would come back and visit, man, that was the beer garden.
nothing like it.
Like that was classic Shreveport.
Yeah, it's. I think it's what everyone remembers that was around in that time. Like everyone
Yeah.
has a captain story, and
100%.
For me, my uncle would take me to the games. He'd take me to the Mudbug games as well. The original Mudbugs at the Hirsch, which is where they play now. So for me, as a 16-year-old, it was cool to announce these games and host these games. That was the beginning of kind of networking. You didn't at that point at my age, you didn't really even understand what networking was and why it was important. And looking back, it was like the most important thing. And the only story that I often tell about the very beginnings is Pete Johns, Raising Cane's, best friends for life after that.
That's awesome.
That's
We've
how-
done a lot of cool stuff together.
We've done a lot of stuff together, and we're going to get to that. I promise it. Trust me, you're going to want to hear it. A lot of cool stuff. I want to know about Pete John before I knew Pete John. Like, at that point, you were with Raising Cane's, I'm imagining, for a nice little chunk of
Yeah, like 12 years.
Before that, what was life like for Pete John?
Like,
Where
not
were you born?
here.
Okay.
Born here, moved to Atlanta, Georgia, Marietta, Georgia, right outside of Atlanta. Like elementary school ish.
Yeah.
Lived, dad got transferred, whatever, over there with work.
Yeah.
They are all through elementary, middle school, and then kind of decided like my brother and sister. I'm significantly younger than my siblings, and so they were going off to college, and it was just me and my parents. And then it was like, let's move back closer to like core family, like dad's and mom's family. So moved back here, went to Captain Shreve, Louisiana Tech.
The Gators.
Go
in the
Gators.
house, baby. Let's
And
go.
yeah, Captain Shreve.
The Bulldogs.
And I know, and opening in Ruston was cool because that was like,
Was that like just a homecoming for you?
it was
Like,
it was
come
weird.
back and-
Well, that's a whole nother thing. Well, real quick.
Yeah.
So I'm like going to the chamber and like going to like the library, like the public library, and I was like, I never in college, like I would go to tech library
You're
and stuff.
like,
but
what
like,
is this
Yeah, I'm like,
place with books?
yeah, like I was never going to the chamber in college, so it was cool building different relationships there. But did that Louisiana Tech and then graduated, and I was trying to get into my MBA program at the University of Georgia. Always loved it growing up there. Siblings went there. My two of my three siblings went there, and couldn't get in, dude. They were like, yeah, your scores aren't good enough, and so get some experience. And so asked around, needed some management experience. Raising Cane's was opening the first location here. And obviously, dude, college degree, young guy, motivated, educated, energetic.
Yeah.
Then they were like, so I came on, dude, I was making like $8 an hour after college.
Wow.
My mom was super like happy.
I bet
She's like,
she
"Oh
loved
yeah,
it.
cool. You're in the
Yes.
fried chicken business now. That's awesome." And so
Good for you, son.
So did that. And so when you met me, really, I worked at Centos for a while.
Yeah. Did you always want to be in the food like world? Was that
I
something
did
you-
because my aunt and uncle owned the Deli Casino
Okay. Yeah.
sandwich shop. I
Yeah.
know you were a patron there on Kings.
Often.
Yeah, and so I worked there.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so all of my cousins, we all worked there. We got like $5 an hour cash, dude. It was like,
Living like a king.
dude, 4 hours a day, dude, 20. It was awesome. But we all did. So I did like it. And I didn't want to ever be stuck in a building, much like what you do, man. Like you're not, you're visiting with people and you're kind of moving and shaking and, you're not just behind a desk and a computer all day,
Man, I could
8 to
not.
5. I couldn't do it.
I've been lucky enough that I've never ever had a job like that. Like it's never been.
And
like
I haven't
strapped
either.
To an office. I don't know what I would do. Kudos to you if you do it. Like, I don't know how you do it.
Well, there's got to be people to do it.
Yeah, somebody has to do it.
Right. And so that's how the restaurant deal, I wanted to be that guy that was in the community. Believe it or not, I'm kind of an A-type personality. I like people.
Would have never guessed.
Right, never guessed.
That's shocking.
And so but I'm not like a foodie. I mean, I wasn't like a chef or like, I just like people. And I liked making people happy. And,
I think that's
it's
why
cool.
you were so great because I mean that you don't have to tell anyone that, and if you ask anybody about Pete John, they'll tell you everything you just said. And I
Well, that
think
makes me
that's-
feel good.
I think that's what made certainly in the beginning, and obviously now with Dillis Quesadillas, but prior, like when I first got around you, I think like there was not a football game in town that Raising Cane's wasn't at. There wasn't an event in town that Raising Cane's wasn't at, and then just the general local promotions you would do, it's like no one else would even come close. Like. But I think somebody has to be guiding that ship that has that in them. Otherwise, these are companies all over that just fall by the wayside because they're not everywhere. And that's not easy to do. It's not easy. And
Dude,
I can't
no.
imagine what you went through in that time. There's the stress in general, the scheduling, the planning. So it's not easy to do it. But, obviously, I think that's just who you are.
Well, and then we're doing it with Dillis too now.
Oh, yeah.
And what I really found is when we started, I didn't have kids. So it's just Tara and I. So, I mean, it's easy to go to everything, right? You go together, you spend time together, you're going in the community. And then as you have children, obviously, as you know, priorities change. It's tough, man. It's hard to do it. But what I found, you got to surround yourself with good people, right? People that have the same values, people that are driven. And that's what we've done at Dilla's. And we've done that. And we have a great team that, some of them have kids. And then, their schedule's tough.
Yeah.
So they're finding great people. And it's just this big...
It's a group of people that are all same-minded.
And
All
dude,
moving in
it's
the
about
right
giving back to the community.
Yeah.
And I think if you truly do that, and that's what I love about your podcast and what you're doing, is it's about showcasing great things in the community.
100%. And I'll tell you, it's funny. The original name of this podcast was Faces of Shreveport. And I told the story last time, but I'll tell you just because I think you'll find this interesting as well. I was in an Uber in Shreveport, and this guy was the coolest guy I've ever met. He was the most interesting man I've ever had a conversation with. And the whole time I'm listening to him, I'm talking to him, and I'm thinking, damn, I wish I could sit down with this guy on camera and just talk to him for an hour and not a 10-minute Uber ride. And then eventually I do want this to evolve to the point where it's like, I want it to get to a point where the guest this episode is a guy or a girl that no one has ever heard of. Like, they're like, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
But you watch it and you realize, that's really it. That's the secret sauce of Shreveport and why Shreveport is, so special, obviously, to us, our hometown guys. Toe, by the way, spilled the beans last week. He's from Shreveport. No one knew that. Police been trying to track this guy down for 15
He
years.
just gave himself up.
Yeah. What are you going to say about that, Toe?
The Toe loves Shreveport.
Yeah.
I don't care if they try to arrest me or not.
Well, okay. Well, no, I wasn't insinuating that. I was just saying I know you're a man on the run. It's people like you, though, that literally strive for years, decades to, build a community up. And there's a lot of people within the community that I don't feel like have a platform. They just kind of do their thing, and their family and friends know their story. But man, it's time to get that story out there. So that's kind of how this whole.
No, I think it's awesome.
You had a lot to do with this thing coming to be there.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying I did. I'm saying it was
You
a long.
totally did.
It was a long process.
No, you
of-
did. I had to make sure on the first episode that I said it because I remember a time in my life when I was in between jobs and I was in between radio stations, and it's a funky thing when that happens because you don't contract, you don't really know where
Right.
you're going next. So I was working at Phoenix Underground, and I would get off work at 6:30 in the morning, and I would drive to the Louisiana Boardwalk. and I'd sleep in my car for an hour and a half.
Oh, dude, the memory. I'd tap on the window.
Yep, it's
You'd be like,
time
Jay,
to go.
Jay, we are on the air in like 10 minutes. You're like, I'm there. Red Bulls, dude.
Yeah.
Red Bulls galore. Whatever got you through.
Absolutely. I'd go in and we do a show, and you and I and Chad Young, who is
My brother, married to my sister.
Lucky man.
Dude,
Right?
me or him?
Both. I mean, both of you.
More
Guys,
him than me. My sister's a dime. So no, but yeah, Chad. Chad is
He's a cool
Dude.
guy. Where's he at now? At Tennessee?
Nashville. Yeah, so he's still doing the marketing stuff. He truly one of the most creative people that I know.
Yeah.
And we had a great team there because everybody kind of brought something new, different, unique to the table.
For me, it was like there's one pocket in my whole adult life and even pre-adult life where I was available to do work. And I remember you called me and you said, we had talked about doing a radio show on the weekends. What do we call it? The Weekend Show. 24/2. 24 hours a day, 2 days.
We go hard 24 hours a day, 2 days a week,
I
baby.
see
That's
those
it.
little bumper stickers.
There's one outside.
Everywhere, man. But no, we had a show called The Weekend Show. What radio station was that on?
103.7? 100.7? 103?
No, it could have been 103.7. That's
I
don't think we would have fit in too well there.
100.
We could have done it though.
I think it's 100.7.
100, maybe it was the Karen D, right? The
Yeah,
Karen D
whatever
anthem?
that was. Dude, I said it a million times. You think I could remember?
million.
You think I could remember it?
We did the show, and we were on for 2 hours a day.
Yeah,
And
we
then-
started early on Saturday morning.
And out of nowhere, the word Shreveportant existed. And I don't remember the exact sentence that it came out the first time, but I know after that, everything was Shreveportant. It was like, you and Chad both knew that
It
is the
dinged.
word. That is, do you remember when?
I think it was more Chad had said something. We had the audience now has to remember, when was this? This was,
Oh my gosh.
15 years
it had
ago?
to be, yeah.
I mean-
No, not 15, because
maybe not that
I feel
long.
like I had a kid. It's hard to keep up, man.
You got them all over the place.
I feel like I had at least one child back then.
Well, my point is,
Yeah, I mean, it was
Twitter,
a good long time ago.
Twitter, now X, Twitter was kind of just, in Shreveport was kind of just becoming a thing, so to speak.
Right.
And we did the shirts that say, I'm at Shreveportant. And that was we had the 24/2 weekend deal. And
Yeah.
Chad really, I would have to give him credit for I think coming up with the word.
Yeah, I feel like though it came. I feel like we said something, and I've told the story, and so forgive me if it's totally wrong. I just feel like somebody said something is important, and then somebody immediately jumped in and said no.
Yeah, you're right.
Shreveportant.
You're right.
And then immediately all the bells started ringing, and then Shreveportant just kind of launched. And then, how do you remember how long after that the shirts came and the website came?
Yeah, and we did koozies, and
Yeah.
so kind of the whole backstory. The show was originally going to be an hour of home improvement.
Ooh,
Remember Jimmy?
I do. Oh yeah.
Jimmy?
How could I forget?
So I don't know where that guy is, but
You better be around here.
you better be
somewhere.
listening.
Yeah.
But
Better
we
have
did
already shared it.
right. So we did that, and then the second half was talking about football and not X's and O's, but it was what are they cooking in Starkville, Mississippi, and
I loved it because
all kinds of good stuff.
we had it was the structure, a very loose structure of a show. But I just remember it. John Sherman was in there, the legend John Sherman, who
Dude.
we got him to open up. He liked what we were doing.
It was fun.
But we were that's what it was. It was actually a podcast before podcasts were really everywhere, is what it was. It was three guys just shooting the shit.
Basically, what it was,
You
and
don't ever hear that on terrestrial radio, ever. It just does
and dude, we
not.
had 4 people,
Yeah.
Chad, you, me, and John, and the personalities just meshed.
Man, perfect.
And so then, kind of but to segue into that, we started bringing on people on the show that we said were Shreveportant, and it was people that were either up and coming or your Uber driver. It was that type of deal to where who is this guy or girl? What are they and some people became even Great Raft. We were talking to them, and I think Red River Brewing was at the time was
It's so surreal because the more you're talking, the more it's all coming back to me in that, because don't get me wrong, I wasn't a daze most of those shows, But I do, and the Nick.
McElhatton at King
Yes.
Hardware.
Yeah.
We had the playa of the week.
The playa of the week. Yeah. And we got a burger at Gullo.
It's still there.
I
So
ordered-
Teresa and them at Gullo's are phenomenal.
The best. It's the best burger in Shreveport. I mean,
Yes. And I went in there the other day, one of my kids' birthdays, and they're like, we want to go to Gullo's. And we went, and the girls were like, oh, the Weekender's still on here.
Here's the
Daddy,
Weekender.
get it. And I was like, Daddy can't eat the Weekender anymore, baby. That was a different time of my life.
that was the other daddy that would shout out on that, baby.
That was ace. It's a serious burger.
I always laugh because when I go, I eat burgers like a kid would order them, and I
Meat
often
and
tell
cheese
my
only?
waiters and waitresses, it's like, if you think a 10-year-old will like it, it's perfect.
That's awesome.
But I'll always order the Weekender, which is like covered in
It's got
everything.
an egg and bacon, and it's the opposite of what you like.
Just to order it, though, I'll say I want the Weekender with just meat and cheese only.
That's funny.
And they'll say, wait, so you just want a cheeseburger?
They're like, sure, we'll charge you $17.99 for meat and cheese because it has everything on it. But yeah, they still got it, dude. And from what I understand, Teresa was like, we still sell the hell out of them. But people will never know.
They will never
until
know.
now of kind of the thing.
This is why this is important, And that was such a fun time in my life doing that weekend show. And like I said, it was really probably the only time in my life I didn't feel any pressure. Like just pressure, ratings and monitors and
Well, the only pressure was what would somebody say that would get us shut down
And then
fined.
John Sherman kills us, in the parking lot.
Right.
He does not play that stuff at all.
So the podcast is great because if someone slips up, says a
can
little
slip,
bad
man. We
word,
slip.
whatever, it happens.
I do enjoy podcasting. I say it, I'm going to try to say it every episode. It's very rare in today's world. I'm still with Cumulus now, and I do their morning show, Q97.3. So thank you to them for just letting me do this. I can't imagine there's many companies out there that would let
No, that's awesome.
a guy just sit down and.
Because actually, Kane's told me to stop the weekend show.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think it was Chad was moving back to Nashville. I think you did. What's your oldest daughter's? River. Yeah, I think you did have, and I think it was kind of getting a lot, and so it kind of fizzled.
Ran its course kind of thing.
It did, and
then after that we did Shreveportant. I remember we did a photo shoot.
We did, and so
the
we had a website and sold some merch and stuff like that, and then Shreveport Magazine.
Oh yeah.
Became kind of part of it, and we ran Shreveport Magazine for a while and showcased cool things going on in the community. And kind of, I don't know where, I know you and I know each other and we kind of conversation goes, but a big thing with the Shreveportant deal was the whole brainchild as it developed was people were talking negative about Shreveport. And when you talk negative about something, the algorithm, not to sound nerdy or but the algorithm is like, you're going to see, if you Google shootings in Shreveport, guess what? That's what's going to be on your timeline, right?
So true.
Over and over and over again. So we said, well, hey, let's showcase the good, right? And then you're going to start seeing the good. And so the magazine kind of was showcasing that. The radio show, that's where Shreveportant really was it went of dude, there's some badass people in this town, talent-wise, that are doing great, still is, and it just was a great way to share the positive, man.
Highlight them. You're so right, and I think certainly more prevalent now than ever. It's not necessarily a Shreveport thing. Negativity is everywhere. It's a lot of people, they've taken the age-old, if you can't say nothing nice, don't say anything at all. They freaking flipped it. So now it's if you...
I'm just always going to say mean shit.
If you can't say nothing horrible, don't update your Facebook status.
Well, because our thing was his ratings, likes, shares,
Yeah.
was all the dirtiest, most out there thing is what sold, right? And we were it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
And it works, and it really does, and that's kind of how, and that's what the brainchild behind Shreveportant was. Man, there were some cool guests we had, and I'll think of them probably as soon as we're done with this. I'll be damn, I didn't.
They're awesome guests. Every week, though, there's
We had
somebody
a ukulele?
Yeah.
Somebody playing a ukulele? And some badass Super Water Symphony.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
That's, I think, some guys around here and girls around here.
The Hargroves.
The
Hargrove brothers
exactly.
were Superwater. And Ainsley, I think, was her name.
Yeah.
God, I'm so sorry if you're watching. I can't remember her last name.
She's married now. I don't think she was married then.
Oh, yeah, that's why I can't remember.
Yeah, I got your back, Jay.
She's good.
But
I get in trouble with girls all the time. I call them they're high school names. They're you can't call me that.
She's I've been married 3 times. Not Ainsley. No, just girls in general.
Girls in general, yes. I always get in trouble with the last name bit. So you've done that a few times, huh?
Oh, too many to count.
Yes, I figured. we had a lot of great guests on that show, but the shirts, their popularity kind of shocked me at the time, but even more so in 2024. It's people still love and remember those shirts. Tell me about the I'm Shreveportant shirts.
So originally we sold them at King Hardware
Yep.
with Nick McElhatton, and that was kind of the only place you could get them. Then we did the website, and it really just got too much. I mean, I was moving and shaking, and we'd and so once again, it didn't fizzle because like it wasn't popular, people didn't like it. It just was the time to do it, and so we still have them, and you and I've talked about it. We got to get them back out there, and
I was gonna say I don't want to say because we've had loose conversations about it, but so I don't want this to be completely binding with a time date on it. But I would love to commit with you to work with you, and
I think we
bring
should
those
do
shirts
it.
back.
I think people would like it. It's cool. Once again, it's a positive message. It's about all the great things going on in Shreveport.
Of course.
And I think that's what we need. And it's a cool tagline. I mean, it's like, Shreveportant, dude.
The Bossier folks they always get mad at me, and I'm like, well, I'm Bossierant. Just doesn't work. I wish it did. I can't find a way to make it work.
You can be Shreveportant and live in Bossier?
Of course. Well, we all are. And this was probably 4 or 5 months ago. I was going to the club and I couldn't find like a clean shirt to wear. That's what happens, I guess, when you're single like me. And I finally found one, and it was a Shreveportant shirt. And I have 2 of them still. I have a LSU, got a purple and yellow one. Then I got the classic, if you remember the black and white. Just
That's
the
it.
Cold classic. Of course, it fits me like, it's like a medium. I don't know what stage of my life
We sold,
I was in,
like,
it fit
crop
into a
tops?
medium. I stretched this baby out and wore it to the club, man, and I'm telling you, I couldn't go 20 steps in a club without somebody asking me where I got that shirt. Where did you get it? And I think I called you that maybe the next day. I don't
Then you
think I
did. You're like,
would've called
dude,
you
we got to do
morning, but
something.
I was like, dude, this is still big, and here we are now. I mean, like I said initially, I was like, we just got to get with Pete and relaunch this thing and get it back out there.
When I love the podcast attitude, it's cool. I think when you and I were talking about it, I was like, dude, you're talented. Toe's talented.
Well, no, I mean, I think you just said 2 incorrect things back to back. Sorry, Joe.
But
That was the best compliment I've ever gotten.
there we go, dude. You can slip me the 20 that you owe me after that. No, but I
Actually,
mean,
it's
I think
40.
this is going to be great. I think it's going to be awesome. I think,
Yeah.
but so I'm really excited
Well,
for
let me
you and
say
what you're
this,
trying to do.
I wanted to highlight, and I'm glad we got to talk about that because I think that's an important piece of Shreveportant history that no one would ever know until it gets out there.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to say that if Pete John isn't Shreveportant, then no one is. Like at least in my history and working in the community and working with people, I've met a lot of Shreveportant folks, but I've really only met one Pete John, and you've always been like that. Like I said, from Raising Cane's and when I met you initially to Dilla's Quesadillas. Tell me about the transition. What was happening in life? What led to it? If you can talk about it, like talk about whatever you're comfortable talking about. How do you make the jump from doing what you're doing and basically running all of these Raising Cane's in the community and their community outreach to launching Dilla's Quesadillas in town?
Yeah. So I was at Cane's for a while, and they called me in one day, and said, "Hey, dude, you're done." And I was like,
Raising Cane's did that?
Yeah. And I was like,
Oh.
I was like,
I'm leaving. If they said that to you, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and so it happened. Like I say,
Wow.
divorces happen, right? Obviously, and
Wait, what do you mean by obviously?
And,
Somebody's been watching the X's podcast.
I have a couple of times. I'm a Casey fan.
Who is?
Kidding. Oh, I'm not kidding, Casey. But
She's a little bit better looking than me.
yes,
I get it.
yeah. But anyway,
Anyways.
they So I left, and it was about dude, really and truly. And I've told this story, and there's some people know it now, but dude, truly dark time. Like, what do you do, man? This is what you've known. This is what you put your heart and soul into. You're sweating a mortgage. All these different things, and so a good buddy of mine said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna help you out." And so I did some consulting stuff for him. Super big mentor of mine. All the while, 2 of my business partners now came to me and said, "Hey, dude, whatever you want to do, we'll support you. We believe in you. Kind of got a raw deal here, so whatever you want to do." Well, so that year gap of like doing the consulting stuff I wasn't happy. My mentor knew I wasn't happy. It wasn't my thing. I liked the people side of it.
And you're essentially just trying to get through,
dude,
get to the next thing.
100%. I
Did
knew
you have
there
any
was.
clue what the next thing was? Or
I
what
didn't.
It could
But,
be?
so Kyle and Maggie Gordon started Dilla's. Kyle worked for me at Canes.
Wow.
Dude, this is all surreal, right?
I had no clue.
Yeah, so he left. He worked in Louisville, Texas at the Canes, and I was his area manager, whatever. Well, so he left to start Dilla's, so they had one location. Well, he and I talked. We were buddies, and, we talked a little bit, and I just had to get back in the game. I wanted the community impact piece. I was looking for something. So I called him, and he said, man, you and Tara come over, check it out. Let me know what you think. So whenever there, dude, fell in love with it. I say this all the time. Walked in the cooler and the fresh vegetables and all the stuff being fresh, dude. I was like it smelt great, dude. Culture was good, and so
Gordon Ramsay would have loved
dude, it was awesome. No, he would have probably bitched about something, but we so Kyle and I started talking, and long story short, we said, hey, we're gonna create Primo Restaurant Group. Shout out to my brother who came up with the Primo. So it's Dilla's Primo Quesadillas. Yeah. Well, we are Primeaux.
Ooh,
so the Louisiana deal with it. So yeah, so
a lot of people don't know this. His name is actually spelled Teaux. He's the toe, but we haven't advertised that.
We'll get an NIL deal with you, Toe, for Primo
Don't say that
Quesadillas.
to him because he believes that's binding. And now Dilla's case,
now we're done.
A lot of money.
Right, I know. I already gave him a compliment. That's our payment.
I'm just going to sit here and let y'all talk it up.
Right.
Sounds good for me.
Work the deal out.
That's hilarious.
So anyway, we did.
Yeah.
So Primo.
So Primo is spelled Louisiana way. Dilla's Primo Quesadillas, Primo.
Yeah. And so anyway, so we did it, and then we opened the Piermont location, and in 2018, and then y'all know what happened, and unfortunately,
yeah.
And so
wait, before COVID happens, that was the only Dilla's in the Arklatex?
Oh yeah, Piermont.
Wow.
We opened I think it was October, November of 18. And then we were open, what was it, a year maybe? I don't know, when COVID's a blur. But we did that, and then we opened two during COVID.
Wow.
And we opened Burt Coons and Bossier.
So you running just 100% drive-through in those times, like in the heart of COVID, and you're open?
Dude, we started doing the curbside thing.
Yeah.
So nobody knew what the hell was going on.
No,
some of us
got by.
Dude, some of us were wearing masks, some of us weren't. I bought some spray gun thing to kill bacteria. I mean, dude, it was bananas.
You want to hear something stupid? I just got my teeth done right before COVID. Brad, smile. How you doing? I bought a $200 mask when it was a mandate that was clear.
So people could see your teeth? Yeah. Dude.
It was so stupid.
That's funny.
What a big waste of money.
I wasted some money too during that time. But we did that, and then we opened Burt Coons.
Well, hang on. So you found a way to be profitable and to expand at a time when a lot of companies, unfortunately, fell under. How did you do that? How did you have, was it just you? Was it a group of people that just kind of had the idea from the jump to go full steam ahead and this is going to work? I mean, that's incredible.
Well, and we were small. I mean, Kyle had 2 in Dallas, and we had 1. We were only 3 locations.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is, man, 2 things. One is you have to want to do it. There was no fail option, right? I mean, I had people believe me. I told you about my 2 investors, Angela and Colleen. Be listening to this. I mean, I can't even say enough about them. Yeah. But they
we have 30 more minutes. We can talk about
right, I know. Yeah. No, but they were. Yeah. I mean, people start depending on you, dude. And you're like, when your back's against the wall, you're dangerous. Yeah. And it was. And so we did curbside, dude. We would have clipboards, and if y'all know where the Piermont location is, you have Tejas is on the corner up there.
Yeah.
And the cars would be wrapped around. We'd be taking orders on clipboards, running back inside. Dude, it was bananas. That's and great. My team, Jeff, Matt, and Josh were the 3. Jeff's still with us. Matt and Josh are doing other things. But dude, we just had a great people, man. And the thing, we just made it happen.
We talked about it earlier with Raising Cane's and how, Pete John, of course, at least in my head, and I think the way you described it, humbly. I'll do it unhumble because he's a humble guy. Pete John's at the helm, right? But you got a team of guys, you got a group with you that are all same-minded and pushing in the same direction. Do you think if you don't have that off the rip at Dilla's Quesadillas, you get through COVID, or did you need that? Need that
man, no, you have to.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we had
how lucky is that though to hit the ground running with on launch a group of people that are all shifting and moving in the same direction.
The people. So I told the 4 guys, Jeff, Josh, Matt, and myself, I said, listen, I don't know who else we can employ. I don't know what's happening. I don't know if we're allowed to employ people. I don't know if we have to employ. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. But I said, I promise you the 4 of us will get paid. we might all four of us work every day, all day. And, they're soldiers, man. And they were like, dude, whatever, let's do it. And that's I do pat myself on the back for having the leadership to like, they believed in it. And we did it. And, we came through it and opened 2 more during that time. And Burt Coon's opened without a lobby. So we just opened drive-through only.
Wow.
And so, yeah, man.
Was the next one the one on Airline?
We were actually, the one on Airline was actually, the deal was done first.
Oh.
But we opened, Burt Coon's came available. And that
I always love that one because it has a Dillis written into the wall on the side of it.
Oh, that's a whole nother story.
Awesome.
Yeah, Bossier was
that a big deal?
Oh, dude,
It
yeah.
looks so cool.
I had to go to the MPC and like in front of a panel because it was extra signage. But it was really just shadow art, right?
That's all it is.
And so the MPC saw it my way, and they're great people.
Yeah,
they knew we were trying to.
Crazy that you had to jump. Isn't that weird? The hoops you got to jump through to do things like that.
Well, I'll tell you though, and Shreveport Bossier really is. They're open, like they want businesses to open.
No, right.
But but it is.
Every
it's wild.
business has to follow the same. I get that. I think from like that just blew my mind that you had to ask for permission to put your signage. I didn't realize there was like, so is there a signage
ordinance like square footage? You're only allowed so much.
Storefront and road. And
yeah,
they're like, well, wait a second, not the whole side of your building.
Yeah,
it looks great.
It does, and if you haven't seen it, you got to go check it out. It kind of has a shadow of the big DILLAS, and it's neat. So but man, we just kind of did everything the right way, and always did the right thing for the right reason, and took care of our people. And for all the people listening, that are starting a business dude, you just have to do the right thing. And that's what we did. And we always took care of our people, and everybody got paid. And if we said we were going to do something, we did it. Yeah. And even my relationship with Kyle and Maggie to this day, if I say I'm going to open X number of locations, you can take it to the bank, dude. Like it's going to happen because I said I'm going to do it. So that's kind of quick story of it.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're
I totally didn't mean to do that. At what point did the dust settle, like from COVID and even from opening those 2 restaurants? Like at what point were you like, okay, this is the new normal, now let's go full speed ahead? Like, do you remember a time or date, or were you just rolling so hard?
Just rolling, man. Really just rolling. I think that it was like when, you could open back up, but then you look at Bossier, very small lobby, and even our Ruston location doesn't have a lobby.
Okay.
We are drive-through only. It's a new prototype with a patio. And then Nacogdoches, lobby's probably the size of Bossier's with a big patio.
Do you think that change spawned from COVID?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Now, Burt Coon's is probably the busiest location in the whole concept.
Okay.
Here in Shreveport. So kudos to Shreveport. I mean, we have the busiest Dillas, and they're in Plano, Frisco, Denton, McKinney. Dude, Shreveport's been amazing to the support, and that is a bigger lobby. But yeah, man, it changed the industry because you realize like the drive-through, the to-go, the IT that goes with it, apps. We have an app, that you can order and it can be delivered to you.
Yeah.
Or you can pick it up. So 100%, man, it changed the entire landscape.
Flipped the whole industry on its face.
100%.
And you got to find new ways to do things. Same for radio for sure. I won't get entirely into that, but it's like we found a lot of unique ways to do radio shows during COVID. And then COVID ended, and they're like, well, let's just keep doing that.
Well, I was telling somebody the other day, I was doing a Google Meets, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, before COVID, I never did that. I didn't even know what it was.
Everyone has to drive to a meeting spot, meet in person, shake hands, how's the kids, how's their life, and then they get to a meeting for 10 minutes, everyone leaves. No, same to this day. It's a Zoom link. Everyone gets wherever they're at in the world, and they get on the Zoom and hash it out. That's crazy.
Well, and what else is cool, real estate wise? So I was on a real estate call looking at some property, and usually you had to, and you still got to drive over there, but you would drive and spend the day and look. Now it's like Google Streets or whatever it is, right? Google Maps.
You see every inch of the house.
Dude, you can go and look street view and you're there. So yeah, man. So COVID did it changed the landscape. I think of a lot of industries.
On a VR headset, you're like walking around that sucker.
100%.
That's crazy to me. And then of course, obviously, before you pull the trigger, you do go see it in person, but you can see everything.
I mean, yeah. So the industry as a whole did change. COVID totally turned it on its head.
It's crazy. Well, I know that you are so community driven. It's like I said, it's the one thing I always commend you on, and I think you are the standard, and I think everyone else has to try to live up to Pete John's standard in terms of giving back to the community and using a local business and a local chain to do that. Cannot imagine it's easy, but it certainly wasn't easy during COVID. So, and Dillis and your Dillis had kind of just started.
Yeah.
So you didn't really have a big chance to do community outreach. Could you find ways to supplement that digitally during COVID? And secondly, after COVID, like, do you remember kind of when you hit the ground running? Because just like right now, Dillis is everywhere, just as I was saying you were doing
Right.
before with your previous company. Like, at what point after COVID did you guys hit the ground running and get out there? Into
Well,
the
I think the schools, I mean, because I'm a Catholic boy, right? And whenever you don't have mass, like that was a big deal, right? Like I mean, like there's no, like it always happens. And so you had churches, churches weren't in, you had schools weren't in. That made it very difficult because that's a big part of our community outreach is churches, schools, community organizations.
So that's that being festivals, that being
all that, dude.
community events.
It's crazy.
And you got your truck out there, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, our big thing, what we did is we said, hey, this is an opportunity to wow people with an experience in the four walls of the restaurant.
Wow.
And so we obviously had a roots here. So as soon as schools got back in, as soon as all that stuff really started happening, then we were just business as usual.
Okay.
But yeah, the festivals and events, man, that was tough. I mean, you do a lot of that stuff. I mean, it all went dark.
If it wasn't for highly illegal underground poker rent houses, I would have never got through COVID.
Like you have to have an illegal festival, which is crazy. But yeah, that was it's funny you bring that up because that was a challenging. I sometimes forget that was even a big part of. There's zero community impact. The way we did it is you sell a hell of a lot of quesadillas, and then whenever you can go out and give back, you give back, and that's kind of what we did.
Yeah, I just know that's always what you've done. So I have to feel like you had to be handcuffed in a way because you're like, even during, I guarantee you, even the heart of COVID, you're like, I'm ready to go. I got to be there. If there's something going on, I want Dillis there at the forefront, which is the way I feel like you've always been, which is, I commend you on that. It cannot be easy to be.
No, it's not. But I think, too, is that if you segue to like what Shreveport is and the Shreveportant message and all that stuff is people have to view the community not just from a for-profit business, but it's about like you got to give to get, right? So if I'll use a school that we do a lot with. Let's just say like Calvary, right?
Yeah.
Or Evangel, any of those schools, right? So
hey, we can talk about it, Dave.
I know, right? And so they they buy food from us, and then they call us. They say, hey, will you support our soccer team or whatever? And you're like, yeah, sure. And so it's that big model of giving, and with that, I think people in the community need to do the same thing. Like you can't just take from Shreveport, and bitch about what it doesn't give you. You got to give back, and then we have to have the community. The Shreveport as a city has to give back to the community, and if it becomes a cyclical model, then everybody wins because everybody's giving and getting. If you have a community full of takers, doesn't work, man.
What are you left with?
Right, just like in my business. I mean, if every organization just takes what I give them and never orders food. Then the giving stops, right?
It's going to end pretty quick.
Right.
Because it's got to make sense.
So our partners, some of our best partners, I mean, I can give a shout out to like Captain Shreve, not just because I'm alum, but dude, Coach Sepulveda over there, like, man, they're constantly supporting us. And I could go on and on. We could talk forever about all those, but people that get it, man, like that's a big part of having a successful community, a successful podcast, anything. Like everybody, it has to be a two-way street.
People buy into it though, and in turn you buy into them. I totally understand that. I just want you to know that my daughter is going to Evangel this year. It's her first year. I went there. I went there from Walnut Hill. So I grew up kindergarten through 8th grade at Walnut Hill. Love Walnut Hill, by the way. Like, work for the best, accept the best, be the very best you can be. I'm a big Walnut Hill guy.
Is that their mission statement?
Of course, man. It's like
dude, that's crazy. You know that.
Yeah, of course I do.
It's all
I'm
good.
the first member of they built a brand new auditorium years ago, and I was on their Hall of Fame.
That's funny.
It was like I was like, well, that doesn't feel right. Take that down. But no, I genuinely like Albert Hardison, the greatest principal ever. Got to have him on this podcast, sooner rather than later. I love the guy. I say that to say this: at Walnut Hill is $1.25 for 9 years to eat. I go to Evangel my freshman year, and $1.25 don't get you much.
Yeah.
Like a styrofoam cup and a bag of Cheetos.
That's funny.
Long story short, I started working in radio pretty quick, so I ate like a king. I made $200 every 2 weeks, and I went right to my lunch at school. Right. Well, my daughter goes to Evangel now, and it's different now than it was even when I went. Now I knew when she started at Evangel that it's no more public lunches. Like, I'm gonna have to pony up the dough. But now you order it all ahead of time, and they give you like a preset menu on what you.
We're there. Dilla's is there.
Every time I see Dilla's, I order it. Every
That's
time.
awesome.
I just want you to know that. Now my daughter's just as picky as I am, but she loves Dilla's. So she's days where Dilla's isn't on the menu, or it's not an option to us. She is like, it's the first thing she'll say to me is, "Why didn't I eat Dilla's today?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, baby."
Oh, I knew I liked her.
She's a good girl. Okay. Now if she hears this, she's gonna hate that I said that and said her name. How dare I? You have 2 little ones.
I do.
My oldest is at that fun age where I can do nothing correct. You know.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
But they're daddy's girls, man.
Yeah. Well, I always thought I had daddy's girls, and then something switches, and then the youngest one is still very much a daddy's girl, but she sees her older sister and she thinks, "Oh wait, that's how I'm supposed to treat him." Okay, and then I got to remind her. I'm like, no, she can get away with it.
Having 2 girls
You
is
can.
cool.
It is cool.
Like, I think, like, they're buddies. I mean, we have I don't know how many bedrooms a house, or I don't know, 4-bedroom house or whatever. And
Can I just say, I would love to get to the point where I have to question how many bedrooms I have in my house.
dude,
That would be
come on,
nice.
I didn't mean it
That
like
would
that.
be nice to get to that point where I'm like, I don't know.
Do you consider the smoking room a bedroom?
Well, the second living room, is that a room?
Right.
I'm not sure.
What I was gonna say is we could have a 1-bedroom, 1-bath house
Yeah.
because everybody showers in my shower or our shower,
Of course.
and they all sleep. Like, it's like everybody's, and I love it, and it is cool. And I think a lot, but man, dude, the day's gonna come to where like, Dad, get out of my bedroom, and it's not there yet.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll never come. I hope it doesn't.
Yeah,
But
that's so true. I was the same with mine. Like even after the separation or whatever. And I think that's why like our situation is slightly different. Like if I was around them all day, every day, like I was for so long,
Yeah.
I think it would be different. I think now, they're going through girl stuff as well, and I am a single guy, and I live like a single guy. So like my house, I do it up for the girls, of course, but it's like there's still things that a guy does that a girl doesn't do.
yeah,
My youngest daughter slept with me in the bed up until like a year ago, and then finally she hit that. She was like, "No, I can't do that. Who does that?" And I was so sad. I think it's just interesting how it happened so fast. And then I always tell my oldest, I say, "A few more years, you're gonna come back to me. I'm gonna be cool again. I'm gonna sit on the sidelines for now, but I'm still here."
yep. When that wedding comes, Dad, I need some money.
Oh,
It's gonna happen, dude. We both got double it. I know, right? Drink you another beer.
You need another one?
No, I'm good. I'm good. No, but
Cheers.
Toe
Bill.
needs one. No, but it's definitely everybody, all the older people say, "Oh man, time flies," and it does, dude.
Yeah.
It goes really fast.
I always tell people, I wish I could go back just for a day, just one day, where I didn't look at my phone, where I didn't watch the TV, where I just went to her room and hung out with her for a little bit.
I know.
Now I'm gonna get upset thinking about it, but it just happens, and then all of a sudden you're at the end of it. Like I was at yesterday, Pete. I was in the carpool line at Evangel yesterday. My daughter has her AirPods in, and she's sitting on like the side, like I'm in there. She's right here, like she's 20 feet away, but she's sitting down on the wall on her phone. I'm in the front of the line, and I roll down my window, and I have a legitimate thought. I'm like, well, if I yell at her and say, River, then she's gonna be mad at me. Like that is embarrassing to her that her dad.
You really can't win at this point.
No, so I just texted her.
That's funny.
Right to your right.
Look to your right.
Yeah. And she got in the car. She said, "Thank you for not yelling." And I figured it
You got some dad points, man.
I
You got
figured
some
it out.
dad points.
I bought this big cowboy hat, this big Evangel cowboy hat that I spent a fortune on. And I wore it to the first Evangel game with her. And she was like, "No, can't wear that ever again. Can't do it."
So you will. You
Well,
got to now. Like,
Now I don't take it off. I wear it 24/7.
well,
It is awesome having 2 girls, best thing in the world.
It is wonderful, and I coach. I coach like the basketball dude, which I get way too into. I have to really remember
Way
that.
too competitive.
Well, dude, like we'll be playing a team that is a school that we support, and I'll be like losing it, and I'm like, dude, these are like our customers, and so I have to be like, all right, I got to tone it down a little bit. But dude, that's so. If you haven't watched a middle school basketball, girls or boys, I mean, I coach girls, but
Yeah.
you talk about frustrating as a coach, dude. You're like, we went over this 100 times in practice. What are you doing? Why are you not? And then I have to remember, dude, they're just 11,
kids.
12 years old.
A lot of them are just figuring it out too.
Yes.
My daughter had never done athletics before Evangel. So, I was playing baseball when I was in pre-K, all the way
Yeah.
to senior year in high school. My daughter's just now figured it all out, and there are a lot of girls like that. I think they get into middle school and they finally have an option to play softball competitively. So I went to the first softball game, and I'm telling you, 6 batters. It was strike 3. 6 batters stayed in the box. And
Bat never came off the shoulder.
I'm in the bleachers like, what is going on? That's the first thing. I'm going to start coaching, but I could never.
I practiced today, and I look so forward to it. It's fun.
Yeah.
But it is. It's cool.
It's cool. So you coach your daughter?
I do. Yeah, I coach St. Joseph's Middle School basketball team.
That's got to be amazing.
Oh, it's fun. And the school, like, they really treat us like a teacher, like, meaning from a respect standpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the kids, it makes it fun.
Does your daughter notice a difference between dad and coach?
Yeah, I mean, she knows I'm her coach. Dude, suicides are coming, baby. You don't listen to me. And so I won't even anymore now. If they're talking when I'm talking, blow the whistle. They know it. We just start running. And some parents attend practice, and they're like, yeah, you do it. Because, you worry about it. I'm like, I don't want the parents getting mad at me. But no, they know. I
think every parent wants their child to be coached. I think
it's just a teacher.
Certainly something that I've learned lately is that if your child is playing any sport or any athletic at any age, you want them to be coached and coached hard, respectfully. I think
they know when I put on my bike shorts.
Oh no,
dude, it's game on.
Hey, it must be
tuck
nice.
My shirt in.
It must, and I'm not. It must feel nice to wear bike shorts again. Huh? Now you can wear those.
Well, I don't, but the waist like that big, and
Did you watch the Shreveportant episode 1 with Tim Hunt?
What did bike shorts come up?
Hey, Toe, go ahead and put the photo of what I was wearing last week up right here.
Oh, I did.
Not a good look. That's bad. That's bad.
Not good.
I posted. I didn't realize it, and my producer didn't tell me that. Hey, Jay, you look like an idiot. Like, put on pants.
You had Umbros on.
I'm editing the podcast, dude. I was smuggling coconuts around this sucker. It was a bad look.
It hit me because I was hoping you were wearing the same things because I was gonna make an Umbro. Remember Umbros?
No.
You don't?
Not at all.
Umbros were like wind shorts, like back in the day.
Well, the problem is I'm so fat is that when I stand up, these shorts go like past my knee. But when I sit down, I mean, the babies were riding up high. Had no clue. And I posted it. I said, friends don't let friends wear biker shorts to host a podcast.
That's it. Well, I noticed Huck was just like looking up at the ceiling the whole time.
He had let's just say this, the camera had a bad view. Tim had the worst view.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, just take a look.
That's funny.
I told Tim that it wouldn't be Shreveportant without Pete John, and I mean that. And it's so cool that you came on for this.
Well, thanks for having me, dude.
I have to ask you, if you think back to like Shreveport, your earliest memory of Shreveport while being Shreveportant to now, what's the biggest difference? Do you have any ideas?
What's changed?
Yeah,
really?
What's changed about Shreveport over the years?
Man,
good or bad?
I believe that there's a lot more avenues now for people to know what's going on, right? Because you hear that all the time of like, what's happening, what's going on. And you see people post all the time, you said there's nothing going on and you're not looking. And I agree with that because there is a lot, and there's a lot of avenues to find out what it is.
I'm so glad you said that. I've often said that. It's like, I will block somebody online if they say, what's going on in Shreveport tonight?
Or I don't know. There's nothing going on.
There's nothing happens in Shreveport. And it's like, look around.
Yeah, and we just, and I don't want to dodge your question by no means, but like we just got back from Austin, just went over there for a conference. And, Austin is like, it's the capital of Texas, right? There's a lot going on.
Yeah,
but there's similar things going on here.
Yeah.
There's music playing and there's that, there's all that stuff. I think that's a big thing of knowing what's going on. And, I'm in a different phase of my life than, right now I'm talking about the sports and stuff, like, dude, we're schooling it up and doing all that. We're not necessarily, we're going to kids friendly stuff.
Yeah. I texted Pete the address, or I told him we shoot in the green room at Phoenix. And today, like right before we started, I got nervous. I was like, "Oh, we didn't go to Phoenix Underground." It's been a while since I seen Pete John out and about in downtown.
I thought about it, but yeah, Shreveport is. I'm really proud of to be from here. I think that we could have opened Dilla's anywhere. Yeah, it made sense because this is hometown. But you got to think we went Plano, Texas, Frisco, Texas.
Yeah.
Shreveport, Louisiana. So it says something about what Shreveport has going on. Mm-hmm. I'm really I raised my kids here. I mean, we're still here. I mean, could move, and so I think that a lot has changed. I'd like to see, I'd like to see more people speak the positive about it.
Yeah.
About what's good going on. I'm not a big fan of the whole Ratchet City deal.
Yeah.
I get it's funny and I get all that stuff, but like to me, I just have more pride and I don't bag on things that like I believe in. And
Absolutely,
sometimes I feel like that happens.
I definitely think I've seen people. I mean, maybe to a degree, if I really dug through all my social posts, I'm sure I was guilty of it at some point. Where it's like, I definitely probably ragged on Shreveport here and there in terms of support. I think that's always been an issue in Shreveport that I've vocalized and I've tried my best to help as much as I can. But it's like, if something really great and really awesome is going on in Shreveport, some nights it kind of blows my mind that no one sometimes like comes. It's like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
So I think the only way to really get through that is just to constantly, post about the good, and to give people an avenue, like you said, to find out what's happening. So there's really no excuse. I totally agree. I'm born and raised in Shreveport as well, so I love this town. You could do a radio show anywhere as well, just like you could open.
Yeah,
doors.
dude. 100%.
I love Shreveport, Louisiana.
Well, I get a little frustrated with the captain speaking like,
Yeah.
dude, I really wish like that had it going on again. Like,
Me too.
But I don't sit here and like bag on the city for not doing it. I'm sure there's reasons.
Of course,
but
there's reasons, and it's economics as well. Like there was some money flow, and it's a
Yeah.
different time back then. Like back then, there you could go to downtown Shreveport. We just talked about Phoenix Underground. You can go to downtown Shreveport on a Wednesday night, and the club is full.
Right.
And these days, it's like you can't find a club that's full on a Friday night.
Right.
And I just think it's a lot. There's so many elements involved. A lot of it's money. A lot of it's social media and the way people interact and meet each other. It's a lot more virtual than it used to be, of course. And but so like my point is, I think I'm with you that I do hate seeing people rag on Shreveport, and I think it's great that we have an opportunity to try to lift it up a little bit and talk about the good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff to talk about.
And there's some really cool people here, really talented people.
So just within the last few months, you have opened a brand new Dillis Quesadillas in Nacogdoches, Texas.
Yeah.
Or Natchitoches, as I said in the third grade when I did the news on KTBS.
We call it Nacogdoches now.
Nacogdoches, baby. It's Nacogdoches, Nacogdoches. And then also opened in Ruston where you went to college. It's amazing.
Yeah, so it's fun. Who knows where we're going to be next?
Well, that's what I was about to say. It's always the fun question that comes. I know you've had a hectic few months.
Yeah.
But if I could ask you, where do you see Dillis being 5 years from now, in your perfect world, a utopia of Dillis Quesadillas, primo? Where do you see Dillis being 5 years from now?
South Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, that area.
Yeah.
Bring it down there, and then we have East Texas. Tyler is a wonderful city.
Booming.
Scott Martinez is the president of the chamber there. He's from here. He did some great things in Shreveport. Moved there. So ideally, man, like fun, dude. Lafayette, Baton Rouge. I mean, it'd be a blast, and it's cool because in Ruston, 25% of Louisiana Tech, and don't quote me, I was told this. 25% of the student population is from Caddo-Bossier Parish.
Okay.
So when we went, a lot of kids were like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm from Bossier. I'm from."
And they already feel a way about you because they feel like that's your hometown.
Right.
That's their hometown guy.
Yeah, and so Baton Rouge, I think we'll see a lot of the same. I mean, a lot of people. So I can't wait to open in a bigger, like the capital of the state would be cool.
Yeah.
Big pop. We could probably have 6 or
You
7.
get excited
there.
thinking about that.
Hell
You
yeah,
can't stop
dude!
thinking about it.
It's fun, and
awesome.
I like creating jobs too, and that's one thing I have to remind myself. And we've created 300 jobs in 6 years, and it might not seem like a lot, but when you go to Nacogdoches and you employ 60, 70 people in that size community or in Ruston, that's pretty cool. And so creating jobs is what cities like. Get the money moving.
I got a question. I don't know if you've ever been asked this, at least publicly, but I've always thought this. And feel free to not answer this. Politician, Pete John, has that ever crossed your mind?
It has.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to people about it, but, man, I think
you have the qualities.
I think the day will come.
Yeah, right.
I think the day will come. Right now, it's about building the brand and it's about giving back to the community in this way. But I believe in Shreveport. I think I'd really enjoy it. And I really think a lot of times with politicians now, they lose sight of that. Dude, just do the right thing. And if you do the right thing, then man,
everything works out. If you do the right thing,
it all works. And
just come up with your
Just do it.
No, I don't know about that. Wait a second. Hang
No,
on
just
now.
do the right thing. But no, it is. But no, it's funny you say that, man,
Well, I
because
was listening, and I thought that for a while. Maybe we have talked about that.
maybe so.
Maybe that's why it's popping up in my head. I think that obviously you're doing what you love right now, so that's great. But man, down the line, I mean,
It would be cool. It would. I've always wanted to do it.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun. So maybe the day will come. But I have ideas of things to do and how we can make the community better. And
we're gonna have a restaurateur roundtable podcast in a month and a half. Would you be interested in that?
dude, anything you need me to do to help promote what you're doing, I'm all in. 100%.
Last question. Worst part about being Pete John. Best part about being Pete John.
Dude.
Yeah, that's a good one, huh?
Whew. The worst part is what if I did like the old interview? Dude, I just work too hard. I'm too big of a
It's rough being this handsome.
yeah, no, I really think the hardest part is that I've set a precedence for my people, and I say my people, it sounds like the people that I influence,
Absolutely.
people that I brought on board of we have an expectation and this is the expectation. And dude, it is hard to go 100% all the time. And it's hard to do the right thing all the time. You know, dude, it's very easy to do what's easy and to do what might be the more popular thing but that's
It's the easiest thing in the world to do what's easy.
yes.
You know, it gets...
And I don't think that's about what's hard about being Pete John. I think that's what's hard about being a leader in a community.
You got to make the tough choices.
In your
You gotta
business.
Go against the flow.
Dude, yeah. If I say that, you need to tighten your beard up and look nice and all that, well, then guess what, dude? Every day I got to uphold that standard. That's a hard part of just being a leader and an employer.
Yeah.
And I think the best part is honestly, my wife's probably the best part. For real. Like, and I'm not saying that to get brownie points. Dude, like, the shit that we've been through, dude.
Yeah.
Like, from a business standpoint.
Can I ask you this? How old were you when y'all met? And how did y'all...
15.
You were 15. Were y'all meeting in high school?
She was 15. I was 30. No, I'm kidding. No. Yeah, high school.
Wait a second.
Captain Shreve. So she was 15. I was 16. So we're high school sweethearts.
You had a
And
prom, homecoming, all that?
we kind of dated some
How
other
did I not
people.
know that?
Yeah,
That's
we've been
incredible.
a while. And so, but I'll tell a quick, cool story is whenever I was going to open the first Dillas, I had investors and people that believed in me, but I still had to put in, right?
Yeah.
So I went to her and I said, hey, guess what? Good idea. You got to go back to work and I need all of our money. And dude, I tell this story all the time. I said, from that point is she was like, whatever we got to do. And I was like, dude, you're badass. Like, I mean, we had been together for a long time. We had kids. But, there's moments in your life
That's so incredible.
that things happen and you're like, okay, she's a soldier. She's in it. Like, and you say what's hard about the Pete John thing is when you have people believe in you, dude, that's difficult because you have a standard that you have to uphold.
Yeah.
But I believe in like doing the right thing once again and all that stuff. And so that's so as far as the bet, man, I got a wonderful family, wonderful friends, happy to be in the community that surrounded by people, awesome people, dude.
And a wonderful wife. Talk about her again, and I'm going to put hearts on your face on this part.
Talk about how awesome my wife
Yeah,
is.
I'm just gonna put hearts on
like I'm glowing, like turning red.
Look at all this hearts.
I know, right?
Great.
No, she is awesome. My girls are precious. So that's the best part, dude.
great
I could leave everything else behind. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I mean, I do all that for them and for us to make a better community. So yeah, man. So I mean, that's it. So that's like kind of the Pete John story and yeah. So
I think if it's never been more evident that if Pete John is not Shreveportant, no one is Shreveportant. I thank you for coming on today.
well, dude, it's been awesome. I love what you're doing and let's keep it going, man.
Let's bring the I'm Shreveportant shirts back. Let's work to it and let's get it done.
You're the man to make it happen.
Pete John, Dillas Quesadillas. Of course, they're all over the Arklatex, now in Ruston. Anywhere else outside of Arklatex and Ruston currently in Louisiana?
No.
But
Ruston, yeah, all that good stuff.
Also in East Texas, Dillas Quesadillas, they are primo, and they are the best. You're the best.
Thanks,
And
man.
You are Shreveportant. Toe.